Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss about the next two members of the Java class. The first member what we discussed was instance variable, the other two members were methods and constructors. Today we will discuss about the methods. Before discussing about the methods, what we need to understand here is, in the previous program what we did was we tried to calculate the volume. If I keep on changing the values and keep on updating the object with the instance variables and then try to calculate the volume, it becomes a repetitive work. To avoid the repetitive work of calculating the volume, what I can do is I can bring in some method. Okay, method is something which helps us to redo the things. Okay, we will try to understand how the method is structured in Java and all. Java. So what happens is, method basically consists of four parts. Okay, see here what we have is, this is the return type of the method, this is the name of the method. Here I can specify in this particular parenthesis, I will be able to specify the parameters of the method, and this part is called as the body of the method. So there are basically four parts. One is the return type, name of the method, and then the parameters for the method, and then the body of the method. Okay, now what we can do is we will try to bring in one method to our class called as box. Okay, so now we will start designing our class. The same previous class itself we will use it. Okay, what was the previous class? We had a class called as box. We will start seeing that class box, which had 3 instance variables. Okay, now I will bring in one method called as void fun, which has wh right now I will bring in some parenthesis also, so that it will be helpful for us. I will bring in some parameters also, not the parenthesis. Int a, int b, and int c. W is equal to a, h is equal to b, d is equal to c. Now this is a perfect class what we have designed. Now if I want to work with this class, as you people already know, I have to create an object of this. How would I create an object? I need to have one more class. In that class I need to have the main method. So I'll just write the main method, public static void mem string args. Okay, and then I need to create an object of it. How would I create an object? Box b is equal to new box. So what has happened internally inside the memory? One object has been created, which is referred by the variable called as b. Right now the values would be wh and d. Along with that, there is one more member called as fun. Initially these values would have been, the values of these things would have been assigned as 0 because of the default behavior of the JVM, because int has the default value called as 0. Okay, now after creating the object, if I try to print SOP of b dot w, the value will definitely be printed as 0. If I try to calculate, if I try to pass the values also, how would I pass? Either I can call b dot w is equal to 10 and then the value gets updated to 10 here, but instead of calling the variable each and every time, what I can do is I can go ahead and say b dot fun of 10, 20, 30. What happens here is the value of this gets updated respectively here. 30 would have been updated. Now I can easily calculate the volume. Int vol is equal to b dot w into b dot h into b dot d, SOP of volume. So this is how I need to get the volume. If at all I need to get one more volume, what I need to do is I need to either create one more object, or in the same object I can go ahead and update it. How would I do that? 5 comma 6 comma 7, b dot fun of 5 comma 6 comma 7. SOP of wall, if I give right now, it will print me the same value just because it's not been updated. But before doing this, if I say int wall, I cannot be able to declare a wall variable again in the same scope. Wall is equal to b dot w into b dot h into b dot d, and then say SOP of volume. The respective volume would have been printed. I can create one more object and calculate the volume, or else I can update the same object and calculate the volume. But if you observe here, volume has been calculated each and every time. This part of the code here, what you are observing, is been repeated in the same code. Again, if I want to calculate, so what I can do is I can go ahead and create one more method called as volume itself, so that it calculates and gives back the value to me. That's a better option, right? So let us go and design such kind of a class, so that the volume will be given back to me instead of calculating that in the main method. Again, start writing something from the class called as box itself, class box, and again calculate the volume also. Here I will specify the return type. If you observe the previous method, the return type is void, that means it doesn't return anything. But here this method is returning some value. Volume method, it doesn't take any any parameters, but it can return some value. Return w into h into d. So I have brought in one more method which calculates the volume and returns back to the main method. So let us start designing the main method. So when I start designing the main method, there is a class called as demo, which will be having public static void main string args, and then what is that I need to have? I need to create an object of this. How would I create an object? Box b is equal to new box. B dot fun, I can pass down the values 4 comma 5 comma 6 and then calculate the volume immediately. But if I calculate the volume, what is it going to return to the column method? It is going to return in the form of same data type, int z. In any variable I can accept it, and then print the SOP statement. Z value will be printed. If you are confused with this, undo this, Z value will be printed. Or else, instead of doing this, I will just comment out this. Instead of doing this, I can directly go ahead and say SOP of b dot volume. So the respective value would have been printed for us. Clear with this, right? So basically methods are used for repetitive work. If there is something which can be repeated multiple times in the program, I will put that part of the logic into the method, and that can be invoked in multiple objects also, or in the same object also multiple times. That's how we work with the methods. And here if you observe, can I access b dot a SOP of b dot a? I will not be able to access b dot a. The reason is a is just a local variable for this fun method. I can only access the members of the class. The members of the class are wh and d, fun and volume. When you create an object of box b is equal to new box, there is a memory which has been allocated. This memory would have been having some members. What are the members of this? wh and d, fun and volume. These are the only members which the object has, which has been referred by b. If I try to create one more object, something similar to this, box b1 is equal to new box, what has happened? One more memory has been allocated inside the JVM, and this memory would have been assigned to this particular variable. It would have been having some other address, but the same members would be having. Through b1, if you try to access the fun method, update the values of instance variable, the respective values would have been updated. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and execute this program in the Eclipse, and let us try to understand and be more comfortable about the method execution in the Java language. So this is where we stopped yesterday. What we can do is right now we will bring in one more method called as void fun. Int a comma int b comma int c. Okay, now if people are uncomfortable, I'll go ahead, go to preferences, Java, appearance, there is a way, code style, editor, colors and font, edit. I'll try to increase it to 16, apply, so that it is visible for you guys. So W is equal to A comma H is equal to B, D is equal to C. We brought in one more method also, right? The one more method what we brought was this was returning some value, int volume. This does not accept any arguments. Those are called as the parameters, and the values what you pass would be called as the arguments. Okay, what will this return? Return W into H into D. Okay, so again, if I want to work with this class, what I can do is I can go ahead and create the object. It's always a good idea to print the object once the object has been created, so that you will be having the confidence in the future classes, in the future of understanding the object. When it comes to understanding the object, it's always good to print the object itself. Say just system.out.println and be comfortable that the object has been created. Figure out, even if you don't understand what this address is right now, just try to print the object. Then I'll say b dot fun. I need to pass the values. I'll be passing 4 comma 1, so that I'll be able to see the value. System.out.println of b dot volume, the respective value would have been printed. See, if you see the value of 4 into 4 into 1, the 16 value. So this is much more easy than the previous program. What I used to do in the previous program is I used to assign individual values for these instance variables, then calculate the volume. If you see in this program, it has reduced lot of lines of code. This is the advantage of using the method. It's basically to reduce the amount of bring in lot of reusability in the Java code. If at all I want to calculate the volume again, what I'll do is I can assign different values for the same object, or to create one more object if required, and then calculate the volume, so the different value will be printed. So I hope you people are clear with understanding of execution of the methods. The remaining part of the members of the class, which is called as constructor, we will be discussing in the next session. Thank you guys.